It's time to dig into it. Today we are taking a closer look at Indigenous Peoples Day. For the next 9 minutes, you'll learn about Native American history, the meaning behind Indigenous Peoples Day, and local efforts working to recognize those who helped shape our country. When you take a look at the calendar, you may have noticed two holidays marked on October 9th, Indigenous Peoples Day and Columbus Day. Whether you celebrate one or the other depends on one thing: where you live.
The push to honor Native Americans instead of Christopher Columbus is gaining momentum. Let's connect the dots. President Biden just became the first president to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day. He signed a proclamation saying it will not replace Columbus Day, but will be celebrated on the same date. Meanwhile, many places have stopped celebrating Columbus Day altogether, including North Carolina. Governor Cooper recognized Indigenous Peoples Day back in 2018, signing the proclamation in honor of the 8 historic tribes that call our state home. It's part of a nationwide push to refocus the holiday. Instead of celebrating Christopher Columbus, advocates argue we should instead honor the Native communities devastated by colonialism. After the explorers' arrival, millions of people were killed and forced to leave their land. The violence led to widespread economic and cultural losses that Native Americans are still dealing with today. But several states are still holding on to Columbus Day. Some Italian Americans consider the day a nod to their own heritage. For now, both holidays will exist side by side. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Indigenous Peoples Day highlights a rich and vast history, not only in our country, but in our state. Census data reports there's nearly 10 million people of Native descent in the U.S. Here in North Carolina, there's more than 122,000 Native Americans, making the largest Indigenous population east of the Mississippi River. There's also 8 historic tribes legally recognized in our state. The dominant tribe here in the Triad is the Occaneechi Band of the Saponi Nation. It spans across Alamance, Caswell, and Orange County. President Joe Biden recently released a proclamation recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day as a federal holiday, making him the first president to formally commemorate the holiday. More than a dozen states and 100 cities have adopted this holiday, choosing not to celebrate Columbus Day, one of them being Greensboro. Back in 2018, Greensboro council members approved a resolution recognizing today as Indigenous Peoples Day across the city. They met and agreed the holiday should commemorate Native people and their contributions and sacrifices. Here in Guilford County, the Native American Association breaks records nationwide for its longevity. WFMY News 2's Giselle Thomas tells us how Indigenous people are a part of our everyday lives, and we may not even know it.
Here in Greensboro, the Guilford Native American Association serves 11 surrounding counties in the Triad. It has members of all 8 recognized tribes in North Carolina, serving over 6,000 Indigenous people in the Piedmont Triad area,
including the Eastern Band of Cherokee, the Lumbee, which is my tribe, the Coharie tribe, the Waccamaw-Siouan, the Halawa-Saponi, the Meherrin, and the Occaneechi Band of Saponi, and the Saponi tribe.
Jennifer Revels Baxter says her culture is the root of her being.
I am first generation of Indigenous people that have grown up here in the Triad area. My father was Lonnie Revels, and he was the first Native American elected to the Greensboro City Council.
Some historians say Indigenous people play a big part in our history, then and now.
So there's a lot of these cultural practices, right, that still go on today that have ties back to the past, and historians can really look at those, both the differences, the similarities, and the between those to really kind of start to understand as much as we can about the people who lived here so long ago.
Simple things like the food we eat, the way we harvest and take care of the earth have a connection to Indigenous people.
Preserving Mother Earth, oftentimes we're referred to as the first environmentalist, long before that term was coined. But we all, even as urban Indigenous people, we are taught and we are raised to respect the land and to take care of it, in fact, for the next 7 generations to come.
Some say Indigenous People Day is meant for reflection and to acknowledge those who are forever a part of this land.
We are here. Our children are sitting in classrooms and being involved. We have teachers educating all children. We have business leaders. Our community is known for construction, incredibly talented folks who do all aspects of construction. So they are building, they are teaching, and adding to the vibrant community here in Greensboro.
I also learned that tradition is very important to Indigenous people. The Guilford Native American Association tells me that they reference it as walking in their elders' moccasins.
Giselle, thank you. There are celebrations happening all over our country today. Nearly 150 people, along with Minnesota state leaders, attended an Indigenous sunrise ceremony today. Powerful words and sacred rituals filled the air in honor of America's first inhabitants. Over in Virginia, people gathered at the Capitol Square in Richmond for their celebrations. Religious leaders paid their respects through prayers. They also conducted education events and outreach programs for locals in the Richmond community. Meanwhile, in New York, millions watched the 79th annual Columbus Day Parade, making this the world's largest celebration of Italian-American heritage. The parade featured 20 marching bands, 16 floats, and dozens of performance groups. Among the sea of Italian flags were carried through the Grand Marshal's honorees, showcasing Italian innovation and design. The annual event commemorated the first Italian-American immigrants who came to America and paid tribute to civil servants and first responders who helped keep New York safe. Indigenous people are also being celebrated here in the Triad. The Guilford Native American Association recently held its 46th annual powwow event, bringing together Native Americans from many tribes in the country's southeastern region. People not only celebrated, but also taught locals about Native American history through traditional songs, dance, and even food.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to teach our culture. As many know, the struggles and the obstacles that Native Americans have had to overcome over the centuries. They tried to wipe us out, and then in the founding of this country, and we're still here.
In addition to this event, the Guilford Native American Association also strives to bring resources like workforce development and education programs to thousands of Native Americans in Guilford and 10 surrounding counties.